Once upon a time in a kingdom where every sunrise was golden-hued and every sunset tasted like sweet mango, there lived a prince named Arion. Now Arion wasn't your typical prince. He didn't care much for jousting or tournaments, but he had a heart as soft as dough and a talent for baking that would put any village baker to shame. Every Saturday, donning a baker's hat and a flour-dusted apron, he'd escape the castle walls, transforming into the unassuming baker prince. No one knew his true identity, not even Elara, the village girl who unwittingly fell in love with him. In this whimsical tale where magic is kneaded into every loaf, we'll explore how Arian and Elara's love story unfolded. And just a little warning before we start, you might want to have some bread nearby because this fairy tale is gonna make you hungry for love. Arian, heir to the throne of Sunhaven, found solace in the simple joys of baking. His days were filled with the rhythmic thump of kneading dough, the gentle heat of the oven, and the sweet aroma of pastries wafting through the air. It was during these moments that he felt truly free. Baking allowed him to express emotions he couldn't articulate, feelings bottled up within him since he'd been thrust into a life of royalty. The castle walls, once his sanctuary, had become a gilded cage. His parents, the king and queen of Sunhaven, shielded him from the world with their endless stream of "you must do this and you should be more like your cousin Prince Caius." All they cared about was the continuation of their bloodline, and they set their sights on a royal match for their son. Princess Isolde of the neighboring kingdom was to be Arian's bride, an alliance his parents believed would bring prosperity to Sunhaven. But Arian had other plans. He didn't want to marry a princess. He wanted to marry love. He began visiting the village of Willow Creek, where under the guise of an alias he could buy flour, fruits, and spices, ingredients for both bread and romance. In the market square stood a small bakery. Its windows were perpetually fogged up, promising warmth and comfort, and it was here that Arian met Elara, a young woman with eyes as green as spring leaves and a spirit as warm as the oven she tended. Their initial interactions were laced with playful banter. Arian, captivated by her infectious laugh, would often linger at her stall after purchasing his supplies, engaging in light-hearted teasing. Elara, unaware of his royal status, found herself drawn to his kind eyes and easy smile. She'd often give him extra loaves of bread, her secret way of ensuring he left with more than he'd paid for. These secret smiles and stolen glances were the flour and sugar of their budding affection, kneaded together with laughter and sprinkled with dreams. As weeks turned into months, Arya and Lara's bond deepened. They shared stories, hopes, and fears amidst the rising dough and cooling loaves. He learned of her dreams to open a school in Willow Creek so that children could receive an education. He promised to support her dream, and she, unaware of his true identity, promised him her heart if he ever revealed it. Their love blossomed amidst the ovens and shelves, their romance as rich and satisfying as the bread they created together. But like all fairy tales, there's a twist in this seemingly perfect romance. One day, while helping Elara with an order for the royal family, Arian accidentally slipped. In a moment of panic, he reached out to steady himself, knocking over a basket of apples. Suddenly King and Queen Sunhaven stood before them, their faces etched with surprise and mild disapproval. The king cleared his throat, announcing to Elara that the mysterious baker prince was none other than their son, Prince Arian. The revelation hit Elara like a blast from the oven. Her heart pounded in her chest, threatening to spill out like spilled flour. She looked from Arian to his parents, her mind racing. Her heart, which had bloomed with love for a baker, now faced the harsh winter of reality. What would her simple village life mean for a royal prince? Could their love endure the weight of two kingdoms' expectations? Arian, seeing the turmoil in Elara's eyes, stepped forward. He confessed his love for her, revealing that he'd been courting her as the baker prince because he wanted her to love the man, not the prince. His parents, moved by their son's genuine happiness, finally saw the bright spark in Elara's eyes that had mirrored their son's joy. The queen, ever the pragmatist, suggested a compromise. If Elara loved Arian as much as he loved her, she should prove it by concocting a special bread for the upcoming royal baking competition. It was an annual event where bakers from across the land showcased their skills. If she won, her reward would be the king and queen's blessing for their marriage. Back at the village bakery, Elara's hands, usually nimble and sure, fumbled with the dough. Her heart was a jumble of emotions, a recipe without the right measurements. She thought of Arian, his honest eyes and flour-dusted cheeks. He believed in her, so she had to believe in herself. Taking a deep breath, she began again this time, adding a dash of determination and a pinch of love. As she kneaded the dough, her thoughts raced. What if she doesn't win? The mere thought threatened to pull her down like a heavy stone in her chest. But then she remembered Arian's words. It's not the title that makes the man, but the man inside the title. That's when inspiration struck. This competition wasn't about impressing the king or winning a prize. It was about proving to herself that she could rise above the challenges, just as she'd risen every morning to bake her bread. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing day, Elara's resolve grew stronger. She experimented with new recipes, drawing from the wisdom of village elders and the techniques she'd learned from Arian. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. The tent was bustling with activity as bakers from around the kingdom showcased their skills. The aroma of spices and yeast filled the air, creating a symphony of scents. When Elara presented her entry, a simple yet elegant sourdough bread, the judges, renowned culinary experts from across the land, were impressed. Its golden crust shone like a beacon, and the aroma that wafted from it was intoxicating. As the judges deliberated, the crowd buzzed with anticipation. The tension was thick enough to spread on bread, but when the announcement came, and the winner is Elara of Willow Creek, the crowd erupted in cheers. Later that evening, under the soft glow of oil lamplight, the king and queen of Sunhaven sat with Elara and Arian in the castle's royal dining room. The room, usually reserved for grand feasts, was now filled with the warmth of a family gathered not for power or prestige, but for love. The king raised his glass, his voice echoing with emotion. To Arian and Elara, may your love continue to rise like the finest sourdough. May it grow stronger with each passing day, and may it always find its way back to me and my queen. As the night deepened, they talked not of politics or alliances, but of dreams and aspirations. The queen, ever curious, asked Elara about her plans for Willow Creek. Elara, emboldened by the queen's genuine interest, spoke of her desire to open a school. The queen, touched by her passion, pledged her support, promising to fund the construction of a schoolhouse. A few months later, the village of Willow Creek was a picture of joy and celebration. The villagers had gathered to celebrate the wedding of Elara and Arian. The ceremony was held in the village square, the same spot where their eyes had first met. Flowers were in bloom, birds sang in the trees, and the clear blue sky seemed to echo the purity of their love. But the most radiant presence in the crowd belonged to King and Queen Sunhaven. Their faces, usually etched with the burdens of ruling, were now lit up with smiles, mirroring the happiness of their son. The queen, keeping her promise, had ensured that the schoolhouse was built. Its construction was a testament to the tangible result of love, a structure that would shape young minds and hearts. As the night wore on, with each dance and every shared smile, it became clear that their love story wasn't just a fairy tale. It was a blueprint for what true love looked like, a reminder that sometimes the greatest magic lies not in a king's ransom, but in the warmth of two hearts baking a future together, one loaf at a time.